sometimes ask me about my cowboy cooking. So that you don't cowboy cook, you don't cook over an open campfire and cast iron pots and things like that. Well, the truth about real cowboys, they have about 28 to 30 hours of work to do every day when they get up in the morning. So they've got to push a bunch of things together, which means they can't spend a lot of time on things like cooking and things of that sort, which have a certain amount of need to be done. And also they don't waste anything, time or product or anything else, so they use a lot of the leftovers from the day before. So that's what I'm going to do this morning. I'm going to make a breakfast burrito out of leftovers from dinner last night. Now, dinner last night I made steak fingers and chicken nuggets in the air fryer, and I made a side dish of peas and carrots and couscous. And it turned out pretty darn good as a dinner, so I'm going to use that to make into a breakfast burrito. Pan's feeling hot. Hit it with some cooking spray here. Oh, I see it's got a few little couscous grains there left in it. Since they aren't cooked, I'm not going to use them. I'm throwing them away. But here's our side dish left over from last night. It's peas and carrots and couscous, and it's seasoned with thyme and turmeric and turmeric is mostly for color. That looks like it'd probably be about enough of that. And here's the chicken nuggets that we had 3 little nuggets left, and I've diced those, and those will go in there. Look at that. That looks like about the right amount for a big burrito. So I'm going to let that get hot in there before I put anything else in it. In the meantime, I'm going to put the egg in a cup and beat it. Okay, this is hot. I'm going to pour in the beaten egg. And leave a couple drops in the end there. I'll tell you about that later. Tilt it to run around over all the filling there. And at this time I'll salt and pepper it. The tortillas in the microwave, so I'm going to give it 30 seconds here to warm it up. shredded cheese on top of it here. And get my tortilla out. There's the tortilla. Now you see the little dots on this side, and the big dots on this side. The big dots is the outside. Very few people realize that flour tortillas have two sides. Now that few drops I was mentioning that I left in the bowl, that'll form the glue to hold the whole thing together. A couple fast food place packets of salsa picante. By the way, in here we use the word hot for just about everything, but in Mexico, in Spanish, they have three different words. Caliente is like hot water or something of that sort. Calor is a hot day, and picante is hot with pepper. There, we've got those. This guy, I know, he's a manager of a Taco Bell. And he says that he has 18 teenagers working for him. All of them smoke pot and can roll perfect joints, but not one of them knows how to roll a decent tortilla or burrito. And the way it's done, you fold up the end next to you first, and then the sides, and taper them in slightly, and then you can pinch it as you roll it. And that holds it tight. And you remember the raw egg that I put on the end? See it there on the end? Roll up over that and pick it up with that down and put it back in the skillet. And I'm going to toast that. Well, check this and see if it's toasted completely. Oh yeah. See how it's toasted there, and that can't come unwrapped or anything else. Turn the burner off here, and this is ready to go to the table. Going to pour me a cup of hot coffee and go over there and have my breakfast. And I only have two dishes, one dish and one fork to wash. And I still have some of this left if I want to make another one tomorrow. Well, there it is on the table, and you don't even need a fork or knife or anything to eat it with. The only thing I'm going to have left over is a paper napkin. I'll taste of this now and see how it tastes. Tastes just like it did last night, and that was pretty good then, and it's good now. Not often you have fried chicken and a pasta dish for breakfast, but if you put it into a tortilla and make it into a burrito, anything works. yeah, that's just pretty darn good and costs almost nothing to make, very little time, very little effort. So I have time for a story, and this story is about a rabbit hunt. The Taos Airport sits next to Pueblo Indian land, and the Indians have jackrabbit hunts occasionally to get food for the tribe. And the problem had always been that jackrabbits, and by the way, a jackrabbit is not a rabbit, it's a hare. And it's at least 3 times as big and heavy as the average cottontail rabbit that we think of as a bunny rabbit. And they're a totally different animal. They cannot crossbreed with rabbits, and they don't crossbreed with antelopes either. No, they're their own breed, and a big male stands up to 3 foot tall. And he can get along pretty well in a fight with a coyote or a bobcat or a badger or something like that. They hold their own. And here's the skull of one of them, and you can see the front teeth there, and they're pretty vicious looking. They can lay a hurt on you that's going to last all day. But back to the story about the Taos Airport. We were out there, and they were going to have a jackrabbit hunt, and what they do, they line up across the land there with pans or tubs and sticks to beat on them, and they start walking in a line, driving the rabbits ahead of them toward the airport. Now, the airport had such a problem with hitting rabbits on the runway that they built a chain link fence about 4 foot tall, right along the edge of the runway, just off the shoulder of the runway, all the length of it between the airport land and the Pueblo land. And they drive the rabbits up against that fence, and that way they can club them and kill them and harvest as many as they need there. And they had announced that was going to take place, and then of course the tree huggers, they got in on it too, so they were on the airport side of the fence. They were going to save the bunnies. And I don't think that most tree huggers are the smartest people in the world to start with, but I saw very little intelligence in this. The Indians came driving the rabbits. They came up against the fence. They couldn't go any further. These people would lean over the fence, grab them by the ears, pick them up, and cuddle them in their arms, and the next thing they knew, they had a buzzsaw there that they didn't know what to do with. And they were screaming and dropping them and throwing them and everything else. And as I said, those rabbits, they're mean motor scooters. But we got a good laugh at the fiasco that they had. But the Indians were able to kill enough rabbits to refill their larder. And by the way, jackrabbit tamales, they sell them. They're in the Pueblo. They're a hot tamale with the meat filler made with jackrabbit meat. They aren't bad to eat, but they do need a lot more cooking than normal. They're a little bit tougher than the regular rabbit or a duck or chicken or something like that. So, God bless America, God bless Texas, and here's to all you fine people and the Pueblo Indians